Hey there YouTube, welcome to the next episode of Jay's Beer Reviews. So today's an extra special episode. I got a couple of beers from a family member of mine, so I'm really excited to try this run of tastings with beers that I've actually never had before. This family member of mine went to the Portland area, and so she was able to give me a couple of beers that some I'd never heard of before, but some that I'm very excited to give a try. And so for today's episode, I have a beer here. It's Old Town Sun-Dazed Kolsch style ale. So I am really excited about this one because I don't usually drink Kolsch that often, so it gives me a chance to try something again that I just may not have had a lot of experience with. And so again, one of the things I always do is I look at my BJCP guidelines, I look at the bottle itself, and so I see here that a Kolsch is basically a clean, crisp, decidedly balanced beer, usually with a very subtle fruit or hop character. Subdued maltiness throughout leads to a pleasantly well-attenuated and refreshing finish. Freshness makes a huge difference with this beer, as the delicate flavor can fade quickly with age. Brilliant clarity is characteristic. From that description, I'm assuming it's going to be a very crisp, very clean, very drinkable, very sessionable, very tasty, somewhat malty, somewhat hoppy, light overall beer, with possibly a little bit of fruitiness. So something I do know about Kolsch's is that they do originate in Germany. They're from Cologne, Germany. And something that's very unique about them is that they use an ale yeast, and then they either ferment it at a lager temperature or they do some actual lagering time. Fun fact, there are about 20 breweries in Cologne that still make Kolsch traditionally. And when you order a beer in Cologne, you're going to get a Kolsch, and it's going to come in a 200 milliliter basically tall glass. It's like a cylinder basically. It's not like tapered or any shape to it. It's just flat up and down. One thing that the BJCP does point out multiple times in the Kolsch category is that it must be well attenuated. So you're going to be drinking a beer that all of the fermentable sugars have been fermented. It's going to be a very dry beer. It also makes mention that the dryness could lend to a kind of perception of bitterness. However, these beers are not supposed to be overly bitter. Alcohol for these beers goes from 4.4 to 5.2, so they are usually in the lower alcohol range. They're what you would probably consider a sessionable beer. And then as for the style comparison, it actually says for the untrained taster, it could be mistaken for a restrained Pilsner or a cream ale, which is one of the lightest of American beers. And so because this beer is a very traditional beer that's made in Cologne, there are some other breweries that make Kolsch styles, but for it to be a Kolsch, it's supposed to be made in Cologne. And there are some commercial examples here that they list. A lot of them I don't know, I've never seen before, but I have had a Gaffel Kolsch, and I have had Reisdorf Kolsch. So those are the two that I've had. I'm very excited to try this new one. And so I'll go straight over to the bottle. Let me pick it up. Again, Old Town, I've never had these guys before. I've never seen them before. They're actually a brewery that I cannot get in my area. So they are from Portland. I will definitely say the bottle art on it is pretty interesting. It's got this guy in here basically chilling in the pool with the galaxy behind him. It tells me it's a Kolsch style. It's 4.8%, so it falls right kind of dead center in where it should. Part of their flagship series, so it's something that I imagine they make year-round. It tells me the kind of important information. So again, 4.8% ABV, 18 IBUs. Again, the Kolsch is going to be a beer that's not very bitter. However, a dryness could lead to a kind of perception of bitterness. It actually tells me it's won a few awards. And so this Kolsch won a silver medal for Kolsch style in 2014 at the Great American Beer Festival. And then at the World Beer Cup, it won a silver for 2014 as well. And a little description here, it says, tastes like backyard barbecues, lazy river floats, second-degree sunburns, and a hint of summer flings. Crisp, bright, and beautifully refreshing. So, like I said, the bottle art's pretty interesting. Some good descriptors, some relevant information, some awards that they won. It's good stuff to include. Second to last thing here, the label itself is not paper. It's I believe it's like a PVC material, so it's something that like when you get it wet in the cooler or something, it's not gonna end up falling off. Last thing, the date for it. You guys know I always check for the dates. It does have it clearly marked on the neck right here. Unfortunately for me, this is 8/11/16. I'm now in April of 17. So it's a little bit of age. Nothing crazy, I'd say. Like the style guideline says you want to drink it very, very fresh. So I don't have the freshest example. I definitely still say it's within, a kind of expiration or a best by date. I'll give it a try and see how it is. So that was just a little rundown on style. If you guys liked it, go ahead and hit the like button. Please hit the subscribe button for me. You'll be able to check out my next episode where I actually pour the beer and I give you my tasting notes on it. Tune in for my next episode of Old Town Sun Dazed Kolsch Style Ale on Jay's Beer Reviews. Thank you.